Greetings, Patrick here. Welcome to Dollar Theater. Dollar Theater is an ongoing series that was created by our good friend Hobbs Horror, in which we watch and review films that we get for $1.25 or less. That's right, there's not going to be any boutique ballin' here. Um, so today's movie that we decided to talk about is an old classic, a favorite of mine, and I was really happy to see it pop up at the library, where I was able to pick it up for a mere quarter, and that is 1956 Rodan. That's right, we're going kaiju hunting today. So Rodan came out in 1956, two years after the Godzilla movie came out. Toho had great success with that, and they decided to do another kaiju movie. So they did this. The original title in Japanese is Giant Monster of the Sky, Radon. Now it was called Radon in Japan, but they changed it to Rodan over here because they felt that the America felt like it was too confusing with the chemical radon. So they went ahead and changed it to Rodan. Uh, so this is a standalone movie. This is like an origin film, and there's no other kaiju in this movie other than the Rodans. There are more. Well, I guess that's not exactly right. There's what appears to be giant housefly larvae that are in it, and the movie starts with in a small mining village near it wasn't Mount Fuji. I thought it was Mount Fuji, but it was Mount Aso on the island of Koshu, Kushishu. Yeah, I can't pronounce Japanese. Where they find where these miners are going in there, and they find uh, uh, people. These miners are starting to die. They're being eaten alive, sucked. Their bodies are being, the insides are being sucked. Think like Starship Troopers. And what happens is they are being killed by these giant house larvae. So so they so they have to go ahead and start looking for these creatures that are doing this. They do find one, and they manage to kill it, but it turns out that it's not a housefly larva because it looks just like it. It turns out that it is actually a species of dragonfly. Dragonfly. So as they're trying to hunt these things down, there's an earthquake, and then we see the first sign of a Rodan. Um, yeah, and Rodan, they're hiding they've been hiding or hibernating in this volcano, and after the earthquakes come out and the volcano goes off, the Rodans come out through the volcano, which is important because it shows that they are impervious to the magma and to the heat. One would think as they come out. And then there's a lot of jet action. A lot of Japanese F-86s are dispatched to take down the Rodans because the Rodans can fly at supersonic speed. And when they fly at low levels, them being so big at 40 tons, well, you can imagine a hurricane, force 5 hurricane, like at 10 feet. So when the Rodans fly over the cities, they just obliterate anything and everything because they're flying in at supersonic speeds, Mach speeds. You could even say that flying over a city at Mach 3 or Mach 4 at the size would just be devastating. So the jets are trying to shoot it down, and to no effect. And the Rodans were able to defeat the jets relatively easy, basically using their speed versus the jet speed, and basically the jets are being blown apart as they fly by the Rodans. Rodan and jet fighter. Okay. probably the only highlight you're going to get here. Um, so so they go ahead and they try to go ahead and figure out how to stop the Rodans. Of course, the Japanese are they're trying to figure out how to stop it. They recover a lost policeman who was trapped down there and woke up and realized what it was a giant bird, and the bird inadvertently saves his life because it started eating the dragonfly larvae, and so it inadvertently gave the man enough time to run, but he had forgotten what he had seen through his trauma, and it was only when the Rodans came back and were flying that he realized what happened to him and where he was at. So they go ahead and then they find out that not only is there one Rodan, there's two, and so the Japanese they decide what they'll do is they'll attack the volcano where the Rodans are going to rest and try to take them out that way. And yeah, that seems to work. Um, so I remember this film when I was growing up. This is one of my favorite. I mean, who doesn't like Rodan? Rodan after this movie here started popping up in the Godzilla movies. Um, uh, he made an appearance. He's always been Godzilla's friend. Um, in all their pairings, starting in 1964 with Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. That was the first time that Rodan appeared as a heroic figure, and then he came back in Invasion of the Astro Monster, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla's versus Megalon, Gigan sighting, Terror Mechagodzilla, among others. And he's always been Godzilla's best buddy. I mean, it hasn't been always Anguirus. And people always say, well, Anguirus was Godzilla's best buddy, but that's not true. They actually fought the first time they met each other. And Rodan has always been Godzilla's pal. He did make it. He did transfer over to the MonsterVerse, so that we have seen him where he fought in Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then after that he went to hibernation. He also appeared in a post-credit scene in Kong Skull Island as being one of the Titans. God, so goofy. As one of the kaiju on the wall. Yeah, this did pretty well for Toho. This is the very first movie that Toho put out that was in color, so that was impressive. Uh, this movie was directed by the legendary, and we do mean the legendary Ishihiro Honda, and the effects were done by I can't say his name. Tubsa. Oh boy. See, if I could speak Japanese, that would really help out. Well, the master of the special effects, Ibara, Sabara, or Tubsara. God, me and names. He created the special effects. The costume for this was really good. The costume looked really good for both ones. It's a sad movie too, man. Tell you the truth, that ending is a bummer. Oh Lord, it was surprisingly grim. But think about the time frame for Japan, 1956. It's only 11 years removed. That's what really astounds me about the kaiju movies is how soon they came out after World War II. And and that's one thing I admire about Toho movies was they treated every movie like it's a serious movie. They comment on the nuclear test, the atomic bomb and the nuclear testing going on, and how the monsters are representing the dangers of nuclear weapons. Even though Rodan, he doesn't have any special powers other than the speed of flight. It's just natural. That's just natural. He flies, Mach whatever. That's just natural. But he has no beams, no no special abilities. No, his tail feathers don't drop bombs or nothing like that. He just flies fast. And sometimes that helps him. Sometimes the lack of like an extra weapon or an extra set of weapons, sometimes he gets in trouble. Um, I don't think he has ever killed Mothra though. But like I said, he is now a heroic creature, and he's always fought with Godzilla and try to play the peacemaker when possible. I got this copy here, which is a really good copy, a great print. This put out by originally put out by Classic Media, but Sony took this and gave it a really nice DVD box and print. And on the back of it, what I really liked about this is they put this out as a series of collections for the kaiju movies. And if you look real closely, there he is. There's our boy. So this enabled you to collect this movie and know that you're getting a true kaiju movie from Godzilla. This came out for. I want to say this came out and this one came out. Sony put this out in 2002. But like I said, the movie comes out. It looks great. So that is our quick review of Rodan. Really one of my favorites, and kaiju movies rock. And of course, we just got this as I'm doing this review. They just released the first teaser for the new Godzilla and Kong movie, Kong and Godzilla Supernova, which appears to be it's probably going to be Space Godzilla. That's going to be the next foe. And they just started production on it, and the movie will be coming out in 2027. Over in Japan, they okayed the sequel to Godzilla -1, and that is also going into production. It'll be released first before the American one is. We're hoping that we'll see a monster in the Godzilla -1 sequel. We're hoping. I mean, it would be nice. That's why we watch these things. We watch things. We don't watch them just for solo monsters. We watch them for the fights. So hopefully we'll get a monster for Godzilla to tussle with in the Japan movie. All right. Well, if you are a kaiju fan like I am, like the mighty Casey is, our good friend Ben from Cadaver Club. Those two guys are like our kaiju experts here in our community. But if you like Rodan, if you like the monster movies, drop a comment down below and let me know which monster is your favorite. You already know who my favorite is. It didn't start out to be that way, but it just has ended up to be that way. But yeah, I guess I could have two favorites. I still wish for a Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover. That's what I'm really living for. If I could just see that, I would be all right. So if you've seen a monster movie, drop it down. It doesn't have to be a Japanese monster movie. It could be it could be Pacific Rim or Cloverfield or the creature from 20,000 Fathoms or any one of monster movies. Drop it down in the comments section below and let us know what is your favorite monster movie is. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that sub button. And I do have on this list, I have done a couple of Gamera movies, so I'll be putting the links to those here in my down below, so you guys can check that out. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, like I said, go ahead and hit that sub button, hit that bell, let you know whenever I drop a video, and we will talk to you next Monday for Dollar Theater. Peace.